Hello to all my juniors and seniors out there getting ready to prepare for the Board of Certification examination and our BOC prep course. Again, remember this is a component of our capstone clinical, now ATHT 4730. And this is, I'm going to talk a little bit how you can utilize the BOC prep homepage in MyGraceland, and I'm specifically going to talk about the self-study guide. So let's take a little bit time first though to get you associated with the MyGraceland BOC prep site. Each of you at this point should have been invited, and it should show up under your courses. Okay, and it'll look something like this: ATHT 0001, BOCP 001, BOC preparation. And here's our main page, or our home page. And what we want to emphasize here again is that we give 70% effort, and it's not to say that we don't want you to give 100% effort. It just means that we are always striving for that standard 11, and that's getting 70% of us or more to pass the BOC on the first attempt. So these are the type of things or strategies that we're doing to help us better prepare for that. And this is going to be just a really valuable tool for you. So as we look at the home page, what I really want to pay close attention to is all these things on the right hand side. Okay, we have some student outcomes here. We can look at the exams and results that we've had collaboratively as a class on the NATA practice exam. Each of you have taken that either back in the fall or again here in the spring, and I have a kind of a summary breakdown of our areas of programmatic weakness, or areas where we overlap upwards of 60 to 70% of all of our students in the program. The other thing we have here are tips for test taking, which includes different presentations and PowerPoints. And those are there for your review. The other thing that Diane has provided with us is course study guides, specifically for her evaluation courses: upper and lower special test guide, a bony palpation guide, soft tissue palpation sites. Again, as we look at if we ever have an area of weakness in evaluation, it tends to be associated with the anatomy and the soft tissue palpation points. Again, preparing for a test and note-taking. This is an area that we tend to struggle, and in our conferences we talk about over and over again. It is key that we have distributed practice. Most of us are student athletes or have been student athletes at one point in time. Surely that if we have to, if we're practicing for a baseball game, we don't start swinging a bat and looking at live pitching 2 days before our first game. No, what we have is we have repetitive practice over time, or that distributed practice, so that we can master a skill. So the same thing comes when it comes to preparing for the test. So you have to take good notes, and you have to do so before class. So read and take notes, and then instead of rereading, practice and study your notes over and over and over again. Use flashcards. Use that Cornell note taking so you can test yourself over and over. If you are a little bit more of an abstract thinker and you tend to tie concepts together more abstractly, the mapping might be good for you, so you can take a look at that document. Now I have a bunch of consensus position statements. These here, and these again are in areas where we've been weak as a programmatically. However, these aren't the only ones, and I really want to draw your attention down to the bookmark here, the NATA position and consensus statement. You really need to be familiar with all of these, because you're going to get hit with them in some component, shape, or form. Likely it was some form of test question somewhere in there. Sample testlets, these are kind of applied critical decision making. These will give you scenarios and then ask you very specific questions, and then it's going to be a select all that apply, or a matching, or something of that nature. So this just gives you some examples of what those may look like. Another important reference point are these handouts. Your candidate handbook. This should be basically kind of your BOC Bible here as you get ready for the exam. The role delineation study as well. It really helps you break down your areas of weakness and different components, as well as references associated with each task domain within as you look at your NATA study guide to the BOC, and you notice those areas of weakness and strength, and it'll really take and break those down. So you can see those. And then again, we can look at, there's another reference list here that you can look at that breaks down our different references by domain, a crosswalk. The crosswalk's really valuable for identifying not only the different task domains, but also linking those specifically to competencies that will then allow you to look at what courses those associate with in our program. And then again, important bookmarks. You should always know your NATA code of ethics. Again, those position statements. But I want to draw your attention to these 3 videos here. It's one on presentation to students on the BOC that outlines the kind of the makeup of the exam, and then the 2 here is a 2-part series that reviews the candidate section of the BOC website, and then creating a profile, really getting your start. So all of those are valuable resources. Those will be continue to be added to as the course goes along. But I want to draw your attention here. This is where you can get a head start if you're starting this summer. I would recommend, again, do not put this off. Do not wait. They say 9 months to a year to get prepared for this thing, and you'll be surprised just how much time and effort it takes to adequately prepare for this examination. So what you're going to see is the self-study modules, and I'm only focusing on this. John will be in contact with you in terms of what your requirements are for the Prep U. But what I want you to note is each one of these is open. There's an arbitrary date that kind of keeps you and holds you accountable. This obviously can't formally be assigned until you're actually in the class, whether it be the fall or the spring of your capstone clinical. But this is out there, it's available, you can get a head start, and life is going to be a lot easier if you utilize your summer. It's great because this is open and accessible, and you can do a little bit at a time, hopefully it'll make things a little easier for you. Because again, many of you have a lot of things that you're involved in, whether you're a student athlete or you're involved in different student activities on campus. Your time is extremely valuable and rather scarce once the school year starts. So use this as an opportunity to get ahead. And then I can't stress enough utilizing that multiple quizzing function, and that's where that Prep U is extremely valuable to you, and you can use that tool to test and test and test and test over and over and over again, specifically in your areas of weakness. But again, we'll tell you exactly what you need to do with that Prep U in a different email that'll come from John. But let's take a look at an example for creating a budget. I just want you to have an idea of what this might look like. So you open this up, it's a 5-point assignment. Each one of them is a 5-point assignment, and it's going to seem like it's a whole lot of work for not a whole lot of points, but this all will add up when it comes down into your final grading. But so you should have a file. Okay. All these are in Word document form. So we'll pull it up here in Word, and it'll look something like this. Each one of these can take you to a specific tutorial. It's a YouTube video just much like this one that tells you exactly how to do the assignment. Again, there's integrated links to important documents that you need. Again, however, most of these documents are also found on your MyGraceland BOC Prep site on the right-hand margin. And then you just go through and you do your assignments. And then each one of them will have different requirements. In this particular assignment, there's going to be you're going to need to upload the file and show verification that you have in fact completed it. If I return back to that coursework, so there's an example. However, there are a couple quizzes. For example, here's the role delineation quiz. Here's the BOC exam pre-test. So if I go to that role delineation quiz, for example, it's scored out of 5.5 points. And you're asked to take it over and over again until you get an 80%. Again, And then here's that document you need. There's the role delineation study for you to study. This is a really, really important document. But this quiz can be taken any number of times. There's no time limit, etc. You can look at the role delineation document, go back and forth, and answer your questions. The key is, do you get the questions right, and do you have access to and the answers to those questions, and are you accurate? That's the important part. So there's each one of those documents. I encourage you to take a look at them. And again, here's those arbitrary due dates. If we pass and exceed them and you haven't quite got to them, you may expect an email from me or a telephone call, and I'll just kind of ask how things are going, or if you had an opportunity to look at those things. But I would really suggest that you be proactive on those, because that's the things that's going to allow you to be sane during your final semesters as a senior and getting prepared for that BOC. You know, the thing we really want to stress here again is that you all do a lot of things, and this is not easy, and we appreciate all the hard work that you put in and the service you provide to our student athletes. Without you, they wouldn't have a standard of quality of care that they do. However, we can't forget that we're also students, okay? And that's our first and foremost thing. We're not here. You're not an employee. You're a student. You're learning during that. Even though you provide a service, you're learning. And that, again, your time is very valuable, and you're busy. So taking advantage of opportunities like this to better prepare yourself for that exam is important. And then by doing this proactively, you can take your exam that last semester of your senior year, and in taking those and passing those, you're going to have a better opportunity at gaining and obtaining those graduate assistantships that you really want, those jobs that you really want, so that you're not lagging behind on taking the exam while these employers and the graduate schools are wondering when it is you're going to take it or pass the BOC exam. So give it your best effort. If you have any questions, remember you can always contact us, and we hope that this is useful and that you can utilize this to increase your chances and pass that BOC on the first attempt. Thank you very much.